call this regular commission meeting to order. Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. At this time, we're going to open a meeting with an invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, send down upon those who hold public office the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose we may faithfully serve in our offices to promote the well-being of all people. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carly, please call the roll.
Neidinger. Thomas.
Here.
Thompson. Here. Reed.
Here.
Kenny.
Here. All right, we're going to start off the meeting with reports from the different departments, and we'll start off with Commissioner Ben Thomas and Finance.
Well, thank you, Mayor. The Finance Department continues to work on storm recovery processes, including the tracking of storm-related expenditures for reimbursement and insurance filings on behalf of the city. Staff is meeting with insurance adjusters next week to discuss loss estimates for damage to city facilities. The Public Depositor Annual Report for the Department of Financial Services has been submitted, and the SI-5 Annual Insurers Payroll Reports have also been completed and filed. Other ongoing projects includes the EMS budget for fiscal 2026 and the audit process for fiscal year 2024.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to Commissioner Linda Thompson and Community Improvement.
Good evening. We're working with Tyler Intergov staff to upgrade the system to the latest version. We received a site plan review application for 1410 through 1420 Pasadena Avenue South for a new multi-tenant retail building. Starbucks has submitted corrections to their site plan review application for 900 South Pasadena Avenue South. We're working on our 5-year CRS community assistance visit, which will be taking place in early May. We have issued 361 building permits and received 820 applications since September 26 of 24. They've completed 20 pre-permit inspections in January. In February of 2025, we received 101 applications for permits as compared to February of 24, when we received 55. In February of 2025, we issued 106 permits as compared to February 24, when only 69 were issued. We have 2 people in the office helping answering the phones, which has been very helpful. Renee and Faith participated in the Permit Tech Experience, which has a 2-day event for building department professionals across the state. They gained valuable knowledge by participating in this event. Reminder, all work to repair the structure to its pre-damage condition requires a permit. A substantial damage packet must be filled out completely for all work needed to bring the structure back to pre-damage condition, and submitted the permit application. And that is my report.
Thank you. And we'll go on now to Commissioner Tom Reed and Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. The contractor continues to work on the Bayview Pavilion right across the street here, and it's really coming along nice. It's like a masterpiece, as Sean calls it. Also, the playground rebuild will begin on Monday, March 17th, St. Patty's Day. Very good. And all the damaged boats, that's good news, have been removed out of Fred Held Park waterway out there, whatever we call that now. They call it the anchorage. They're gone. The dead ones are gone. Public Works just finished a total revamp of the median in front of the hospital. If you haven't seen it yet, please, next time you're here, slow down and take a look. It's really impressive. Great job, Sean,
Yes.
you and your whole team. Saw them out there doing it. The city's debris contractor has completed all the pickups, so if you have to put debris out to the curb, you must make your own arrangements to have it removed. The days of us picking it up are gone now. Public Works has been dealing with the finance, or rather working with the finance department, dealing with insurance, FEMA, and Florida Department of Emergency Management. Kudos to the finance department for their great effort dealing with this. The repair of the Public Works shop and annex will begin soon. And that concludes my report. Thank you all and have a good evening.
Thank you, Tom. Vice Mayor Neidinger is not here this evening. I'm going to provide her report from the Public Safety Department. South Pasadena Fire Department is excited to announce the grand opening of our new Fire Station 20. So everyone, please join us on Saturday, March 29th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 1477 Pasadena Avenue South for this very special event. Our firefighters will be leading public tours of the state-of-the-art facility, showcasing how it enhances responder readiness and improves emergency response times. So come out and meet the dedicated personnel, explore the new station, and enjoy light snacks and refreshments. We are looking forward to seeing everyone. Now I have my report from the Administration Department. And tomorrow is Election Day for the city of South Pasadena. It's an election of 2 commissioners will be conducted. And if you are planning to vote in person, please be aware that the city's normal polling location has changed. Due to damage from Hurricane Helene, City Hall is not able to serve as the polling location. South Pasadena voters are able to cast their ballots at Pasadena Community Church, located at 227 70th Street South. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, March 11th. For more information about the election, please contact the city's clerk's office at cityhall@mysouthpasadena.com or visit votepinellas.gov. As our community continues to recover from last year's storms, I'd like to encourage South Pasadena residents to look into the new Elevate Florida program. Elevate Florida is a first-of-its-kind, groundbreaking statewide residential mitigation program led by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. This program is designed to protect homes and communities by reducing damage caused by natural disasters like hurricanes and floods. Elevate Florida is designed to expedite the entire process and complete a residents mitigation project. For more information, visit floridadisaster.org or apply for assistance today. And once again, hope to see you at the fire station grand opening. Tonight we have, on behalf of the City Commission, I'd like to announce a proclamation. March of 2025 is Irish American Heritage Month. So to celebrate the rich cultural heritage and the many valuable contributions of Irish Americans. And yes, we've done a lot. So, all right, that's all I have in my reports. We're going to move on to the next area of the night, and that will be our People's Forum. And we will open the People's Forum at this portion of the meeting when the public can speak on anything that is not on the agenda. So is there anyone that wishes to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? Please come up.
Hello.
Evening.
My name is Jack Doherty, and I spoke at the last meeting. I wanted to go through a couple of additional things. My address is 7020 South Shore Drive, South Pasadena. I've lived in South Pasadena and in this particular house for 33 years, so a very long part of my life. So my goal is to continue living in South Pasadena, living in the particular house or the particular location that I'm living in now, that I was living in. The house during Helene faces out to the southeast, and during the storm, like I had said before, waves, because that's the direction that the wind was blowing, waves came crashing into the sliding doors that were along the back, knocking the sliding doors out, and causing over $435,000 worth of damage. That's the insurance estimate. My flood insurance is capped at $250,000. And what I want to do and what I'm required to do is to rebuild the house. The house has structural damage, so I don't even have the ability to raise the house because of the structural damage, significant structural damage when the waves came through. The permit fees, and we had talked about this before, the permit fees for my rebuild are over $22,000. And what I would like to do is to talk about the ability to waive either a portion or all of those permit fees. So because of all of the other expenses I have to rebuild the house in a manner where I can live in it, It's $22,000, over $22,000 just for the permit fees. The cost of the construction of the house is over $500,000. And my insurance is limited to $250,000. So my request would be that you consider, you did a great thing by waiving permit fees for individuals that had flood damage for repairing their house and construct. And I would just ask that you consider doing something like that for the individuals that had significant amount of damage that they cannot logically repair the house. They have to rebuild it, and the extreme expense of being able to accomplish that. And that would be my request to you, and I'm hoping that you, because again, 33 years in South Pasadena, in the same house, in the same location, I want to continue living here, and I would just ask that you consider doing something along those lines.
Well, I can tell you it is under consideration. We're not allowed to discuss these items outside of this room, of course, due to sunshine laws. But I know I've put in some requests for some information so that we could sit down and make a educated what we do of what we can and can't do. So
I would appreciate that, like I said.
yeah, and I'm sure others are too.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just just
Thank you, I really do appreciate it.
okay.
Sorry for your loss, too.
Yes. Okay, anyone else who wants to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? Okay. We'll close the people's forum. We're going to head on to agenda comment. And again, this is the portion of the meeting that the public can speak on anything that is on the agenda that is not a public hearing. So is there anyone in attendance that wishes to speak on agenda comment that's not part of the public hearing? Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the agenda comment portion. And we're going to move on to the public hearing, which is quasi-judicial. This is item number 1. It's an application for variance. So item 1 of tonight's agenda, I will ask the city attorney and the city clerk to speak regarding the hearing process.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'll ask the commission to disclose any ex parte communications, if any, you have with the applicant for tonight.
None.
Okay, seeing none, I'm going to read you a notice for the hearing. All evidence admitted at these hearings will be kept by the clerk to remain as part of the record. In accordance with Florida statutes, you are hereby notified that if a person decides to appeal any decision made by this board at these hearings, he or she will need a record of the proceedings, and that for such purpose, he or she may need to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made, which record includes testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be raised.
Okay.
Could everyone who is planning to participate in tonight's hearing please stand and participate in our oath? Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this commission will be the whole truth? If you are planning to speak as a member of the public, we ask that you complete a comment card so that we have a record of who spoke. My deputy has some back there. I also have some up here. So if you could complete that, and when you come up to give your comments at the appropriate time, please begin your statements with your name and address.
All right, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to open the public hearing for item 1. We'll begin with the hearing process with the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners,
Chris.
staff, members of the public. Chris Bremo with Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering on behalf of the City of South Pasadena, offices at 5550 West Idlewild Avenue, Tampa. This is a variance hearing for 7045 Hibiscus Avenue in South Pasadena, Florida. The applicant, Brian Morrison, is requesting a variance to the density requirements in the RM10 zoning district per section 130-13A. RM10, the maximum area dimensions are 10,500 square feet. The lot is about 0.29 acres, so 12,650 square feet. It meets the minimum lot requirements for the district. The variance is for 450 square feet to the minimum lot area to allow for the construction of 3 dwelling units, where 2 units are permitted by right. The neighborhood characteristics are the site is approximately 12,650 square feet. a lot fronting a single-family, featuring a single-family masonry residential structure constructed around 1952. The surrounding block includes a mix of single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and multifamily residences. Several of these multifamily residences may be deemed non-conforming with respect to the current land development regulations related to density and other building requirements. Many of these were built prior to the current codes on the book. To the north of the city limits is the city of St. Petersburg. The average lot area along the block fronting Hibiscus Avenue is approximately 12,700 square feet. A 16-foot alley for vehicular access at the rear of the properties fronting Hibiscus Avenue from those fronting Gavelia Avenue. There is a figure 2 that has a graphic of the neighborhood characteristics that you can see what the general area with the types of properties that are there. Zoning and land use classifications and current use of adjacent properties are as follows. For the subject properties, RM10, residential multifamily, current use single family. The land use for the subject property is residential low medium at 10 units per acre. The adjacent properties to the north, RM10 single family, with all of these properties are residential low medium land use. So I'll just read what the zoning is. The north is RM10 single family. To the south, RM10 single family. To the east, to the rear, RM10 multifamily. And to the west, RM10 triplex and multifamily, because it sort of sits between, splits the lot. Within residential multifamily zoning district, residential and residential equivalent uses include single-family residential dwellings, two-family duplex residential dwellings, multifamily residential dwellings, and home occupations and residential accessory uses. When doing the analysis of this, the applicant has submitted a conceptual site plan for the proposed development, illustrating a 3-unit configuration, which necessitates the request for the variance. In accordance with Section 130-13A of the City's Land Development Code, the applicant is permitted to construct 2 residential units on the subject site by right. Any development on this site must meet other dimensional requirements in the RM10 zoning district enumerated in Section 130-13 of the city's land development regulations. Of note are the following standards within that district. Maximum lot coverage for residential is 40% of the lot area. Excuse me. Maximum density is 10 units per acre, or 4,360 square feet of site area per dwelling unit. And the minimum green space requirement is 45% of the site area. Section 130-47 of the city's land development regulation states that the city commission may grant variances where the variance will not be injurious to the neighborhood or detrimental to the public welfare, and owing to special conditions, a little enforcement of the provisions of Chapter 130 of the city's land development regulation would result in an unnecessary and undue hardship. In considering variance requests, the city commission shall make findings on the 6 criteria listed below. The commission shall not grant a variance unless the commission finds affirmatively on the following 6 criteria, and I'll read those into the record. That an unnecessary hardship exists, 1. 2, that such unnecessary hardship has not been created by the applicant. 3, there are no other choices for the developer which would not require a variance, which would allow the property to be utilized in a manner satisfactory to its designated use and density. 4, there's a clear and convincing benefit both to future residents of the property and to the public at large in permitting the variance to occur. 5, that the variance, if authorized, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or district in which the property is located, nor substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property, nor be detrimental to public welfare. Excuse me. And 6, that the variance, if authorized, will represent the minimum variance that will afford relief and will represent the least modification possible to the regulation in issue. And that is directly out of your code, Chapter 130-47. In granting a variance, the City Commission may include such reasonable conditions and safeguards as are deemed necessary to implement the purposes of the city's land development code. An applicant must demonstrate hardship to justify variance from zoning regulations, such as density requirements for residential development. In the context of zoning and land use regulations, a hardship is generally deemed or defined as a condition that arises from unique circumstances specific to the property, such as its size, shape, topography, or location, not from the applicant's actions or expectations. The hardship must not be self-imposed by the property owner and must prevent the property owner from enjoying the reasonable use of the property under the existing zoning regulations. The zoning and land use decisions must also adhere to the guiding principles outlined in the city's comprehensive plan. While variances are permissible, they must not be granted if they are inconsistent with the city's adopted goals, objectives, and policies. And I have listed consistency with your comp plan. Future land use element policy 101.103, of your future land use element. And it reads, the city shall enforce standards such as dwelling units per acre, floor area ratio, impervious surface area, and densities or intensities of use for each future land use category as described below. These categories shall be consistent with the corresponding categories of the countywide map and rules as follows. And this is the residential low medium with a maximum 10 units per acre, which is also corresponding with the county's residential low medium district, which is the same characteristics. In the variance application, the applicant stated that an unnecessary hardship exists due to flooding caused by Hurricane Helene, and the applicant did not create such a hardship. Flooding and other natural disasters may create a situation where the property owner cannot use the land in a typical way due to the risk of damage or destruction. If a property owner can demonstrate that a natural disaster has created a unique hardship, such as needing to rebuild a structure in ways that would violate zoning laws or regulations, they might be granted a variance. However, granting a variance is not automatic. The property owner must show that, one, a unique hardship exists, that the flooding or other natural disaster creates a unique condition, their property different from others in the area, creates a unique condition for their property different from others in the area, and that, two, reasonable use of the property, that without the variance, the property owner would be unable to use the property reasonably because of the flooding or disaster. In conclusion of the analysis, to justify a variance to the land development regulations, a property owner must show that the hardship arises from unique property conditions, is not self-created, and that strict compliance with the regulations would impose an unreasonable burden. Additionally, the variance must align with the broader objectives of the zoning code and the community's welfare. Based on the criteria listed in section 130-47 of the city's land development regulations, staff concludes that the applicant has not met condition number 3, which states there are no other choices for the developer which would not require a variance, which would allow the property to be utilized in a manner satisfactory to its designated use and density. The lot currently has a single-family residence. However, based on the lot dimensions and district regulations, the applicant could construct 2 units on the lot, provided they met the district's other dimensional requirements. As a result, staff recommends denying the variance. And the commission does have 3 options. Approve the variance request, approve the variance request with any conditions the commission deems appropriate, or deny the request. If you have any questions, I'm available for those. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I have any questions right now. So. All right, thank you, Chris. All right, and now invite the applicant to present.
Excuse me. My name's Brian Morrison, 7045 Hibiscus Ave. I'm the applicant. I want to thank the commission for taking the time to consider this request, and thank the gentleman for his testimony. He repeated a lot of what I had in my application, right, about how, the reasons for this request. So I just want to elaborate a little bit. I did purchase this house in March of 2024, right before the hurricane, as we all know. I was drawn to this area. I do currently live in the state of Maryland. I was drawn to this area with a view toward the future, right? And that I potentially could move down here, and was drawn to Florida and this area in general. Andrew City, based on, you know, a unique set of circumstances that I think you have a really great community here, right? And I just want to I guess address the you know, the can I do anything else with the property? I guess I see it as three options, right? I think the simplest and most financially sound option, right? If I'm consulting financial advisors, right? They would tell me to renovate the existing property, right? And we would be left with a single-family house with flood damage that's been renovated, not elevated, or any of that, right? I personally don't think that's the most optimal situation. I was drawn to, you know, purchasing rental property for the purpose of improving it, right? I like the idea of taking what in some cases are non-optimal situations and making them better. I think in this case in particular, elevating not required based on, you know, the property values and all that, but I think it makes the most sense. I really just did not want to, you know, put money into the existing structure as it is. My hardship, I think, is obvious, right? The house is damaged. My tenants had to move out. So I've had no income related to this property since September. Could I build 2 units there instead of 3? I could. Would a financial advisor advise me to do that? They would not. They would not. There's financial risk involved in property values, construction costs, any number of things, right? My original investment in the property, which has now been significantly reduced, right? So that, I think, is why I'm here, asking for a third unit. I think the third unit is consistent with the character of that neighborhood. I think if you see the pictures we provided, you know, we're going to build three modernized units elevated out of the I think providing value to this community, and really providing 3 nice residences for future families, elevated out of the flood zone. And for me, maybe I get a residence I can live in someday, should I choose to move down here. Or if nothing else, I'm hoping to minimize my losses. It's quite possible I'm still going to have financial losses in this project. I'm just hoping to minimize them. So again, thank you for your time. That's my request.
All right. And right now, it's a single-family home?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I do, actually. Have you looked at, I mean, I've been by the property. It's a single-family ranch-style home that would lend itself easily to being split in half and have 2 dwelling units using the same shell. You mentioned you only have $55,000 in damage. I'm not trying to mitigate your loss, but a lot of people in this city would love to have $55,000 in damage right now. So, I mean, have you looked at gutting the existing structure and turning it into 2 dwelling units? That seems to me to be a much more cost-effective way to get your house up and running and creating rental income again.
Yeah, so I think if I stated that number, I think it's misstated, right? My losses are higher than that. They might not be as high as some other folks in the room, right? They're more than that. I could do that.
I guess my question is, have you looked at the cost-benefit analysis of doing 2 units and what kind of rent you could expect and relative to what your expenses and outlays would be for renovation versus new construction?
2 new units?
Well, out of the same existing structure, gut it and split it in half. Even add on a backside if you have to. You still got 2 units, you've got 2.
Elevate it?
You don't have to, you don't have 50% damage.
So That's my, maybe this is just a personal thing. I don't think it's optimal to put the money into building a new property that's not elevated.
No, I understand that, but I'm asking, have you looked into that as to getting numbers, costs, rent analysis of what potential rent you could get by adhering to the code?
I have done the analysis of what building 2 new units would involve, yes.
Okay.
And I know the rent just doesn't close on these properties, right? Even as it was, there was a loss involved in renting this property, right? In its current state, in its decades-old home, single family, not elevated, right? So it was already not covering its expenses, right? 2 new, brand new construction townhomes would not close as a rental. I would need to sell them. I would need to sell them. And I have looked at the analysis of the amount of money I spent to purchase the property initially, the construction cost estimates that I'm receiving from folks, and then the estimates of the sales, the potential sales value of the house. And it's not a positive number when I'm done.
You said that 2 units, you could not rent them, is that what you said just
Yeah.
now?
Not rent them and cover the expenses.
You wouldn't break even by
I
renting.
wouldn't break even, right? For example, the current property was bringing in $3,300 per month, and my mortgage was $3,800 or something, before even accounting for all the other expenses, right? So I think I'd be in the same situation. I'd have a large loan for the construction that I would have to pay off, and 2 units worth of rent would not cover it.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
There is
Oh.
nothing other than this 400 and some square feet is the problem. That's the only problem we have.
That's what the variance is
The
before.
variance is the only problem.
Yes, that's what's before you right now.
Then it doesn't meet the code, right?
You're not
Yes,
going
and so we've been, the plans we put together, right, we're paying attention to setbacks and floor area and impervious area and all that we're gonna be compliant with all that.
have you considered living in one of them and moving down here?
I very much, it's in my long-term plan, 100%. My job right now is in Maryland, so as long as I'm employed in Maryland, I can't work remotely, I have to stay in Maryland, but I do intend, looking at moving down here someday.
Well, come on down sometime.
I am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Those wishing to speak in favor of the application are now invited to speak.
Does anyone want to see the handout on this?
Hold on 1 second.
I know you probably called me.
I've had this off since-
I already looked at it. There was one in front of all of us when we got here.
My name's Sean Dunn, Gulfside Real Estate.
Hold on
Yep.
1 second. Did you do a card for me?
I didn't.
Okay, would you mind doing that when you're done?
Sure.
Okay, can you just start with your name and address?
So I'm with Gulfside Real Estate. Brian's my client. I sold him the house. I feel a little responsible
Just before the hurricane.
for the storm, right? So we did have trouble finding
What was your name
tenants
again?
for him that would pay the
Start with your
mortgage.
name and address.
I'm sorry, Sean Dunn, Gulfside Real Estate. My office address is 2525 South Pasadena Avenue. Suite M.
Okay.
Sorry about that, and thank you for your time here. So, yeah, so I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. This is pretty close to the project over on Greville that has 9 units in it.
Okay.
So it was similar units, similar to that type of construction, and would just bring more tax dollars in for the city. It's a very small variance that we're asking for, and I think that it would be beneficial to the neighborhood to have these units there and bring up values all around the neighborhood.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have one quick question.
Oh.
What's the footprint of these units?
The units are 2,017 square feet apiece.
I read that. I'm
I'll
not
have to
curious
check
about the footprint.
I'll have to,
I mean, is there a way you could shave off a foot here, foot there, and make them fit, make it fit the current requirements? In order, that's why I'm asking the,
well, we're gonna.
say it's a 20 by 40, that's 800 square feet. If you could shave 10 off of that one, 10 off that one, you're getting close to being within,
I'm sorry, I thought we were just asking for a variance for the,
I'm asking a question as to way we
Units.
could, where a variance isn't involved, is not necessary. In other words, could you
We would need
reduce
more
your
land.
footprint?
No, if you could build the
Reduce your
unit
footprint.
smaller.
Reduce
still
the,
need more land. It's density, not space.
no, I understand that. Oh, the three is, okay, my apologies.
One of the neighbors wants to sell us 430 square feet, we're not here. But we haven't asked him for that, we're asking for the variance instead.
Right.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
do-
Both neighbors, neither neighbor on either side object, so I've spoken with both of them. In fact, they had mentioned possibly even getting involved in building more units, but we're not doing that. They've discarded that as an option. But neither have presented an objection to doing this.
So one of the neighbors has offered to sell 400 square feet to you?
No, I said I haven't addressed that. I said that if we had
Yeah,
asked for that, we wouldn't be here. We could just buy 400 feet for the neighbor and have enough. So it's really not a footprint thing, it's a density thing.
I misnoted that.
We're just off by 10% on the third unit.
Gotcha. Okay,
I appreciate your consideration.
thank you.
there's a lady up there with her hand up.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor?
There's a lady there.
Okay.
There was a lady there that had her hand
I know, but
up.
we're not there yet. We have to follow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. And, okay, are there those wishing to speak against the application are now invited to speak? Come up.
Well, it's an observation.
Hold on 1 second. If you could start your comments with your name and address and details.
Sure. Yeah. Kathy Nuzzo, and I live next door in the Siega Cove condominium. And I was trying to get a fix on where exactly 7045 Hibiscus is in relationship to the,
Right behind your tennis courts.
behind the tennis courts?
It's right across the street from your tennis courts. Go to Hibiscus, and it's right across from there.
Oh, I thought it was down this way.
Yeah. Now, looking at the Google map, I can see your tennis courts, and I can see the property right across.
Okay, so it's almost across from the 3-unit townhomes that are right in back of the building here.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay. It's kind of a minor concern, personal, because I live here, and I live on this end of the building. And the noise in this area travels unbelievably because of the water.
Yeah.
And you can hear conversations from a block away. So my concern is they've got this deck on top. And not that, you know, my anticipation is that there could be some parties on that deck. Because we have had some neighbors here before that would, you know, pretty rowdy late into the night sometimes. And it just carries across this area. So that would be, it's kind of a personal thing. I'm a light sleeper.
I've been here around 22 years, and I know how that sound carries across the water.
Yeah, it does. It's amazing. I'm always hushing my husband, so. But anyways, I think it looks like a nice place, but I would be adverse to having the deck up there with,
Okay.
So it'd be
I
okay,
wouldn't want anybody to fall off of that building either.
it'd be okay if there wasn't a deck up there.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine.
All right, well, thank you. Okay. Does the applicant have anything to say in rebuttal to anything that he's heard?
Yes, I suppose variance request is about the three, having 3 units versus 2, right? I think, you know, we'll come to you again for plan review, and we can talk about whether they have decks or not, and all those things at that later stage.
All right, thank you. Are there any closing statements from the staff? Okay. Did it look like you might have wanted to say something earlier when Commissioner Reed was speaking? Was that answered already? Yes, sir. Okay, all right.
3 versus the 2.
Okay.
Are you speaking for or against?
Against.
Against, okay, so we just had another person that,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just, I mean, I understand everybody in the neighborhood has problem with the flooding. Some people lost more, some people lost less, but everybody had a share in that, okay? The variance say 2 units. Personally, I don't have a problem for 2 units, but 3 units, what is gonna benefit not just myself, just the rest of the neighborhood? Because increasing the density decrease the value of my property. So already the market is low. So it's down because it's too much offer. Right now, I just finished to fix my house. I had to live 3-4 months in an RV. And with the whole family, it's not fun, especially you never be living in an RV in your life, and you always live in a single house. Our neighborhood is a traditional, what they call St. Pete traditional neighborhood, so it's a specific layout. We have already 3-story building in the Hibiscus Avenue, so it is multifamily. So increasing the density, I mean, you have to sorry me, but so how many people are going to be benefit for the variance, and how many people are going to be prejudicate with the variance at the long term? So again, I lost a lot of money. I mean, I didn't have insurance. My detached garage is not part of the house, but I lost over $100,000 over there. It's not covered by insurance either. Especially family stuff that, just an example, I have a collection of stamps from my mother from the 30s. That has a lot more value sentimental than it. So I lost stuff that I don't want to even remember. So I had just throw away and forget. So again, so I don't want to be the bad guy here, but just a matter of common sense. So 2 units, I don't have a problem. It's in the variance. Going to 3 units, if that variance go forward, it's going to be more people doing the same. That is historically is what happened. It's working in construction, so it's what happened normally. So one start, and all the houses around my house are in the same condition. They have to tear down or raise or put a second floor. So everybody's going to go in the same route. So that is just my opinion.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
could you state your name and address for the record? Could you just say it?
Oh, 7089 Hibiscus Avenue South.
And your name?
David.
Oh, like full name.
David Padovan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we're going to move on now to if the applicant might have any closing statements at all.
Okay, thank you again. Closing statements, I think just to address, I feel like on the surface of it, it seems like it's a question between 3 units and 2. And in my mind, it's it is a decision between 3 units and 1, right? And for me, I've explained earlier, right, why I think most of us agree, right, that, you know, elevating the residences is good, new construction is good, it benefits the community, right? My real decision here is between 3 units and 1. It's not that I couldn't try to do 2, but to address the pain, right, like, I'm here with everybody, right, like, No matter what I build, it's quite possible that I will have a loss here, just like everybody else, right? In addition to the loss I already have, right? So that's it. I think the density and 3 units for, right? My understanding of the residential zoning and the multifamily zoning that we have is most of the properties in this neighborhood that are currently single-family homes are already zoned for 2, right? So I think the desire of your city council is to increase the density in this area. Now, allowing 1 lot to have 3 instead of 2, here and there, where it benefits the community and is otherwise consistent with the neighborhood. I don't know that, allowing 1 lot to do it means everybody else has to be able to do it. I know it doesn't work that way in my neighborhoods. But there are just a few factors that I forgot to mention earlier too, right? That to address the gentleman about whether there's anything unique about this property that caused the damage. I just want to put that in the record, right? That we were having freshwater and saltwater flooding from rain even before the storm. So to the extent that impacts everything. But really what I want to leave you all with, right, is just that's how I think about it, right? I think about it in terms of maximizing the value for the community. And if we think about it in terms of this 1 lot, if the owner had to decide between a patchwork repair to the existing structure versus new construction residences, that's where I'm coming from.
Understandable, thank you. All right, at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing for this item. Is there any discussion amongst the commission? Any further questions for anyone? Everybody's pretty set? Okay. So at this time, I'm going to call for a motion to either approve or deny the application for variance from Brian Morrison for 7045 Hibiscus Avenue South, South Pasadena, Florida. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll motion it.
Second.
Wait. It's either approve or deny.
Yeah.
So, or is the motion to approve or
Approve.
like?
Got a
Motion
state.
to approve.
Okay. Do we still have a second? We're at a loss for a second. There another motion?
Motion for denial.
I second.
Is there any discussion now that we have a motion for denial and a second?
I'd just like to say that both sides presented arguments, compelling arguments, and I appreciate somebody coming down here and investing in our city. It's very unfortunate that what happened right after you invested in our city, it happened. I feel for you terribly. But I just can't support a variance right now, no matter how small it is of a, square footage issue. It's still, what concerns me most about it is the 3rd unit in the back where it has access by the alley. And I worry about public safety, worry about access from the fire department. So on that, I'm just going to have to be a no.
Okay. Anyone else, any other comments? Okay, then we're going to call the vote.
So this is for a motion to
Deny.
deny the application for variance.
Correct.
Thomas?
No.
Thompson?
No.
No.
Wait, shouldn't we be?
We should be yes.
Okay. If you, so it's a motion to deny.
Yes.
So a yes
Yes.
vote is approving the motion to deny.
Yes.
Okay. So you're a yes.
Yes.
Okay. Reed?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. We're going to move on to our next item now, our unfinished business, which we have none. And then item number 2 is our consent agenda. This is approval of the commission meeting minutes for the month of February 2025, which are on file in the city clerk's office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We have no new business, so for this evening, we are going to adjourn. and wish everyone a pleasant night.